Shalom, Israel. Want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BAHASHAM, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops at Great Millstone, and peace and salutations and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 of prophets, and to the men and women of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Shalom. Back with another lesson. I'll title this one, The Nations Shall See and Be Confounded. The nations shall see and be confounded. Shema, Yasharala, Yahawah, Alahayanawa, Yahawah, Ahud. Shema, Yasharala, Yahawah, Alahayanawa, Yahawah, Ahud. Shema, Yasharala, Yahawah, Alahayanawa, Yahawah, Ahud. And, something that's on my spirit, and as the title reads, the nations shall see and be confounded. And this is truly the end, man. These are the latter days. These prophecies are speaking loud and clear. And this is the end of Esau Edom, the so-called white man who is in power, who is in rulership, who represents the new modern day Egyptian. This is the end of his world, his system. Because it tell you Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You see, and who is Jacob? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. This is who. This is who is in rulership. Who's up next in rulership? The kingdom is coming, and it's going to be right there in Jerusalem, in Israel, because Israel is a people before a place, which is you Hebrew Israelites. And we see, um, you know, with Esau, Esau is trying to dictate and control everything across the globe, across the world. He has his nose and trying to negotiate and dictate what's going on over there in between Russia and Ukraine. He has his nose over there dealing with the allies to the Israelis and battling Hamas. But it tells you, like in Revelation, that the beast shall hate the whore, and who is the beast, and that the whore sits on top of the beast. Who is the beast? NATO, and who is the whore? America, the U.S. Now, I'm not gonna make this too long. I'm gonna get straight to the point. But um, the Lord is coming to destroy you other nations. You other nations have lived in prosperity. You've prospered, man. You've lived great, starting with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the so-called white folks. You've lived great for so long, but your end is near. And we see, the whole thing with the U.S. Donald Trump. In the U.S. Donald Trump, they've came out, the whole thing with Iran. You know, Donald Trump's telling Iran, you will not have nuclear capability. You're not gonna have it. That's just bottom line. End of discussion. You will not have nuclear capability, Iran. This is what Donald Trump is telling them. And that's the end of discussion. Now come to the round table so we can tell you what to do, what you're going to do, in the pride and the arrogancy, of these white folks, man. Just as proud and arrogant. But you know what Iran said. Iran sent that video of that underground city with all those ballistic missiles, and they're telling Washington to go f yourself, to go f yourself. This is what's going on. So World War III is inevitable. It's going to happen. And this place, this is a countdown to this place. Everybody's going to turn on this place. Everybody. You see? Let me go here. Call halal YAHAWAHSHI YAHAWAHSHI. That Iran, they want all the smoke. They want it too. And we know Iran is joined unto Russia, that BRICS nation. Let me go here. But the Lord told you it's his determination to gather all the nations to bring their military might, to bring them down there into that valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of decision, Yahweh Shaphat, which is in the so-called Middle East. And he's gonna plead for his people, starting with the elect. The Lord is coming back to crush our enemies and to restore his people back in that land. Israel, Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a people. Israel is a people before a place, which is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. The tribes, the Lord's chosen people. The Lord told you, man, those that don't believe, you're going to perish in your non-belief. Let me go here. Call halal Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. Zechariah 1. Zechariah 1, and let me, this will be straight to the point, man. Zechariah 1 and 14. Because it tell you in Revelation, the angels holding back the winds of destruction. But we know that micro C hip has to come first. The micro C hip has to come first before all out war. Once they make that micro C hip the mark, which is spoken about in Revelation the 13th chapter, once they make that mandatory, it's green light. It's green light. Any day, that all out war, World War III is coming, and right along with the Lord, Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWAHSHI, the Savior, coming back with innumerable amount of angels to destroy these other nations' military might. It says, Zechariah 1 and 14, it says, so the angel that communed with me said unto me, cry thou, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with the great jealousy. It says 15. It says, and I am very sore displeased. See? And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. All you nations, man, starting with Esau, Edom, you so-called white folks. You've lived in comfort. You lived in security. You lived wealthy. You've prospered. All you nations, man, you joined hand in hand. You've lived great. You got the other nations, the so-called Chinese, the Arabics, the African Hamitic tribes. They come way over here to the Americas, and they set up businesses and send their kids to the best schools, the biggest and best colleges, and get degrees and all of that stuff. And here it is, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You live in the barrios and ghettos and projects and shit like that, excuse my language, and suffer. And here it is, your parents been raised and born all over here for so long, and working till they 70, barely making 20,000 a year. But you other nations have prospered, man. You've lived great. You've lived wealthy. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. It says, for I was but a little displeased. See? The Lord said, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. The Lord said he was mad at our forefathers, our people, man. The Lord said he was because he made a blood covenant with our forefathers, our people, going way back unto the wilderness, when the Lord delivered us out of our forefathers, our people, out of out of captivity and bondage and slavery in the first Egypt from the Egyptians, man. And he brought our people down there into the wilderness, because that's where the church started at, in the wilderness. And he said, I am your power and you are my people. I choose you, the nation of Israel. But our forefathers broke that promise, man. And the Lord casted us out into, scattered us out into the other nations. And he said you would be ruled over by your enemies that hate you. And this is what's been shown. We went from captivity to captivity to captivity to captivity. Here we are on our final captivity. This is it. This is it. And these other nations, the Assyrians, the Greeks, the Romans, this is here it is. America is a revival of the Roman Empire. All these nations have beat us down. They've done everything to us, man, to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, to you tribes. They've done everything to us. And here it is in the end still. We're still on the bottom. All the marching, the protests. We got some of our people sell out and join hand in hand with these other nations to try to live like they do, but they still hate you. But, the Lord said that they helped forward the affliction. They did more than they were supposed to. Ultimately, Esau, Edom, you so-called white folks, hanging us on trees, burning us alive, and giving our the little children to using them as gator bait, and just total torture, man. Gunning us down in the street, imprison us, giving us 50 years for a traffic ticket, doing all type of just totally, man, unjust. That the Lord said, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction, you other nations. Let me go here. So you got to pay for that, man. You got to pay for that. So he said, 16. He said, therefore, thus saith the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem. See, with mercies. See, all of our people are gonna be in the kingdom. All of us, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the tribes, we're all gonna be in the kingdom. But in this end, the Lord is coming back to restore or to deliver his elect out of his people, because we have a lot of our people, they just don't believe, and they go whoring around spiritually into these false doctrines and man-made religions. They're just all over the place. So 2/3 of our people ain't gonna make it in the end here, in the Lord's second return. They're gonna be cut off with the other nations in this time of judgment. But overall, they'll be brought back in the kingdom through marriage, through newborn babes, through the elect. But the Lord has mercy on Jake, man. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. It says, my house shall be built in it, saith the Lord of hosts. And a line, see, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. See? So starting with the elect, that line. See? Starting with the elect and on down, man. The tribes, man, we're going to be royalty, man, forever, for eternity. The greatest of all times to ever do it. Jake, man, we're going to be restored back in our land. The richest, the most righteous people on earth forever, man. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But see, a lot of our people, they just, some they don't believe this, and they want to do wickedness. They want it on this side. But the Lord said, those that are joined hand in hand with the enemy, you're going to be thrust through. Let me go here. Let me close out with this. Micah. What is that? Micah Micah. Micah. This is what the Lord got coming to you other nations. It says Micah. Micah 7, or no, Salakia. Salakia. Micah 5. Micah 5, and I'll go here. I'll close out with these last few. Micah 5 and 11, or Micah 5 and 12. 5 and 11. Micah 5 and 11. It says, and I will cut off the cities of thy land and throw down all thy strongholds. See? It says 12. It says, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. See? It says 13. It says, thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands. Because our people are all into witchcraft and sorcery, all into these man-made religions, Islam, Scientology, Catholic, Christianity, atheism. They're all into all this zodiac signs, and they're into all this stuff, man. The Lord finna do away with all of this, man. All of this. See? Everybody's going to serve and worship Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, the God of Israel. The living God. The only one to beat death. The Prince of Peace. See? All nations, everybody going to serve Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI. He's going to get his glory. It says 14, it says, and I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee, so will I destroy thy cities. 15, I'll close out with this. This is for you 2/3 Jakes that want to stay and, all into these false man-made religions and join on to the other nations, and you reject their heritage. This is what's coming. And then ultimately to you other nations, starting with Esau, Edom. This is what the Lord say. I'll close out with this. It says, and I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. You guys you ain't never heard or seen the type of judgment, the destruction that the Lord is bringing to his enemies and to you on 2/3 of his own people that didn't listen, man. Shalom.